Hi, my name is Aaron Thomas, Marketing Director here at Start.ca, and with me is the CEO of Start.ca, Mr. Pete Rocca. Pete, how are you?
Good, yourself?
I'm doing excellent, thank you. Another great edition of Start Talk, and I got a whole bunch of questions here that the people who've been following us on our social feeds have been asking. So let's dive right into it. First question is coming in from Kevin, and it's about internet censorship. What do you think of the proposed Internet Censorship Committee?
I think it's bad.
So what is the internet? What is the internet? What is the Internet Censorship? What is the proposed Internet Censorship Committee?
So I'm assuming this is the one that's tied to the piracy stuff that's happening out right now.
Yep.
And basically what it is, a couple of the large providers who happen to also be vertically integrated with content production kind of got together to pitch having this ability to block access to certain sites, and in the name of piracy prevention, and I think also there's some of the child protection stuff I think is rolled into this as well. I'm not 100% sure on that, but for most of the reasons, it's many people see it as a bit of a self-serving type of committee put together to help their content production area, and leveraging their access position in order to block content. So overall, I think it's a really slippery slope. You could look at it and say it's a method of upholding the law. And there are some edge cases where people could argue that there's certain good aspects about it, but overall it's a really slippery slope in terms of who starts deciding which sites can and can't be viewed, and creating this wall or where this committee decides what it is that Canadians can see and what they can't see.
Now, who put this committee together? Is this?
Yeah, it was a large, I'm not going to name them because I don't remember them all, but we also don't get into the naming game here. Yeah. But a lot of the large access providers, other internet service providers, and most of them, I believe, have content divisions in their companies as well.
Okay, so they want something to say, and they own the material that they're. I understand.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Alan or Elaine asks another question. How do you feel about these types of committees and these types of things wanting to block all piracy websites from their own network? So it's kind of the same thing, but really diving into, are they going to block stuff from their own network?
Yeah, absolutely. It's basically the same thing that we kind of talked about, and it's not just the piracy sites. There actually are some people that believe they should be able to block any sites that host VPNs as well. So VPNs, which have very legitimate reasons for business or privacy or whatever reasons. I mean, it's not for us to decide why somebody may or may not be using it or need to use a VPN. But under the proposal, or some of the proposals, they want to block access to VPNs as well. So it really is like I said, a slippery slope in terms of we become the content police. Access providers are telling people what sites they can go to and what they can do online, and ultimately, I don't believe that that's our place to be content police. I mean, right now it's about piracy. What happens when it's comments about government or political views, and that site becomes on the blacklist and taken out. So it's something that could actually have a pretty big impact if it goes through. And who's the oversight that decides what sites make it to the list and not?
So what can people do right now if they have a concern for these types of committees, and if they have a concern for piracy, for what's being proposed?
Yeah, so I believe that the CRTC has an open file, or will be opening a file and taking public comments on it. So you can go to crtc.gc.ca. I'm sure that it'll be up on there, as well as I would imagine companies like Open Media will probably be picking this up, and people will be able to voice, or there will be some petitions up there, I'm sure.
Great, good to hear. Jim writes in and asks, what are some of the odd things that have ever happened in the Start world? And he also says, Have you had to remove any wildlife from a data center? I'm thinking there's a connection here somewhere.
Hang on, I need to read this. Jim Howarth, yes. Yes, I'm sure there's some fun stories. So Jim used to work for us a very long time ago so hey Jim, hope everything's going well. Jim's a great guy, and so the story he's probably talking about is we had a very small computer room back in the day. This would have been in late 90s, and we lived in, our offices were in a small place downtown, and it was an older building, and every year some bats would find their way into the building. So there was one day when one of our employees, I won't name names again, came screaming out of our computer room, terrified, and Jim had to go down and catch the bat. The bat was frozen. That room was really cold. We kept that room too cold, and the bat was nearly frozen, and he was able to catch and release, so he was probably back the next day. But we had it all on video footage, and so Jim liked to play that video every once in a while for the other person. Unfortunately, I have lost that video. So Jim, if you still have that video, please send it my way. That would be great.
Well, that'd be a ton of fun things to see. I'd love, and if we get it, we'll show it here before an episode one day, or on our YouTube channel or something. That's a very good question. Interesting to know. So one of the last questions here, the reasons why I asked this last is because this is a question that comes up so often, and I want to make sure that we let our customers know and anybody watching truly what the word unlimited is. So Vic writes in, are there any terms with unlimited internet, for example, time of day, the days that you can do it, weekends? Now, I know historically this has been sometimes the case. So when we're talking unlimited internet with Start, as of today, what does unlimited mean?
Yeah, so unlimited means that we don't limit anyone's usage any time of day or night, day of week. We do have some plans that are non-unlimited plans, and for those we have some time of day benefits where people can get access without purchasing unlimited. They can still have unmetered usage during certain hours of the day where we don't count it against their quota. But for anyone that has unlimited, we just simply don't, there's no billing that can be applied against unlimited usage.
So historically, when there was, let's say, I don't want to say a peak time, but let's say that there is a peak time, I'm assuming it would be between like 3 and 7 o'clock in the evening.
Sundays between 7 and 10.
That's the peak
Absolutely,
time?
yes.
Okay, so what's the time that I would say that people use the internet the least?
4 a.m.
Any day?
Any day of the week. Yeah, it's pretty consistent around 4 a.m.
4 a.m.
It drops off around, so it drops off after midnight, but then a lot of people still are up until about 2 or 3. 4 is kind of the lowest time before it starts ramping back up around 5 o'clock in the morning when the early risers are starting their days off and watching some videos while they have their coffee.
Nice. So this is interesting. We've learned a little bit about unlimited and what it truly does mean, and the fact that Sunday is a very busy day on the worldwide web. Interesting. Well, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Aaron Thomas, once again the marketing director here at Start.ca, and we do this show every couple of weeks, and when you have a chance, please go on our social feeds on Facebook and Twitter, and when you have a chance and you see Start Talk is there, you can ask us any type of question you'd like. So ladies and gentlemen, my name is Aaron Thomas.
Peter Raga.
And enjoy yourselves. Have a great week.
Thank you.